Okay, so it's Monday, and as always, we're going to start off with the weekly giveaway. So last week I gave away a AK-47 Ice Cold, and yeah, whoever won that, which was on the blue themed inventory video, which is the reason why I chose this one because it's a blue AK. Yeah, your comment will be pinned. Usually I show you whoever won on the screen right now, but I'm not home as I'm recording this. This is pre-recorded, so I don't even know the winner myself right now. But whoever won, I have pinned your comment on the blue themed inventory, and I will send you over the AK as soon as possible. For this week, we of course have the red themed inventory right now for a budget in this video, which means we of course are going to give away a red skin. So I went and bought a P250 Motors in minimal wear with a 0.11 float. Really nice P250. I actually use this myself as well for my red themed inventory. And the only things you have to do to enter this giveaway is to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment down below your favorite red skin from this video. So whatever skin I have shown in this video, which is your personally favorite skin. And yeah, then you're all good to go, and next Monday I will announce the winner for this P250. And yeah, good luck everyone, and let's get straight into the video. Okay, so we once again have a budget themed inventory. Last time we went for the blue themed inventory, budget inventory. Today we're going to look on a red themed inventory. I have a red themed inventory myself. Not as budget as this one I'm going to show you, but there is some really nice skins whenever you're going to try and make a budget themed inventory. You just have to know what to go for. For example, show today. It took me way too many hours to make this video, as it takes a lot of time to go through all the weapons, look at what skins is a decent amount of red and could go well with some red gloves and whatever, and also editing the video because we have a lot of skins to go through. Like, I have no clue how many skins I'm going through in this video, but it's probably close to 100. Maybe not 100, but I mean there is like 20 guns or something in this game, maybe even a few more, around 20 I would say, and most of them I have like 2-3 weapons skins options for, so it's something like 50-60 weapons actually, maybe. So it's a lot we are going through, but we'll get through it all, and hopefully you find something you can use for your own red themed inventory if you just like red skins, or you're already trying to build something up. Hopefully this video will help. I know it's a long video. The last one I did was also almost an hour long, but that's just so many options, and I want to give you all the options you need to make the perfect choice. So it's perfectly fine with me if you just scroll through the different about the timestamps, but the different sections of the video and look through the different weapons and what skins I just show you. Just quickly go through them all to get a quick look. That's totally fine and totally up to you. I just appreciate the support whenever you see the entire video or not. I don't expect most people to see a video which is close to 1 hour, so but hopefully it helps you guys. Let's get into it. No more talking. Let's take a look at some red skins you can use for a red themed budget inventory. Okay, so to start off the red themed budget inventory, we're going to start with the knife and glove combo. So the gloves we have here is the driver glove, raisin, the red. These are in field tested condition, and they only cost $95, so super cheap option for red pair of gloves, and probably the best ones for that price. If you want to go further on for something like crimson web gloves, you'll be at $175 or something, almost double the price. So this is definitely the best pair of gloves you can go for red themed inventory on a budget. The knife I have right here is a Falcon Knife Slaughter. This one is in minimal wear condition. Minimal wear, this costs $235. Some of these knives will be a bit expensive. I have another knife to show you guys, which is a little bit more expensive, but I think you should be good. I mean, the gloves is really cheap, and the other combo I showed you, the one in the last video with the blue themed inventory, they were around $300, and this will be around the same. So this combo I have right here is $330. So the other knife is also Slaughter, but this one is a Huntsman knife, which I personally like way better than the Falcon knife. It's a really good option for a budget knife, because it's not like an ugly knife, the husband knife, but it's not also like very nice to have. It's somewhere in between, and it looks pretty decent. But a field tested one is this is a field tested one slaughter, and this one is still $275. Mostly because most red skins for knives is actually extremely expensive, because it's the OG skins like slaughter, and you could go for Crimson Web, which is a bit more, a bit cheaper, but still over $200. So yeah, and then the slaughter skin is just fits better to these gloves than the Crimson Web does. So this combo here is $370. So it would be just over $300 for a pretty decent knife and glove combo on a budget for a red themed inventory. And I mean, it's pretty good for the prices in this game. Most knives and gloves will be more expensive than this combo on their own. So, but yeah. And so this is the two knives I will go with for these gloves, and I will show you the other skins with these gloves as well, so you can see how they look with the gloves. So we're going to start with the AK skins. I got 3 options for you here. Of course, as always, I'm going to start with the cheapest option and then go up to the more expensive ones as I go further on. So this one is AK point disarray. It has some blue and white to it as well. A little bit of black in the background, but mostly red. And whenever you look at it here, it has a pretty good amount of red to it. A really nice AK. And this one you can get in field tested, as this one is, for only $7.90. So just under $8 for AK skin is really nice when you're on a budget. But remember, I always spend most of my money on the AK M4 and AVP skin, also the starter pistols and the deagles. They are the weapons you're going to use the most. So if you have like $100 to use on skins for all your weapons, I will definitely spend something like half of that for those weapons, and then the other half out between all the others, maybe even a bit more on those 5 weapons. So yeah, don't go on a budget on this one if you have a few extra dollars, or you could go for cheaper options on some of the other weapons. If you want to upgrade this to a minimal one, you will be looking at $14, so almost double in price. So I will definitely go for field tested one. The other AK we have is the Orbit, and this one is actually not an AK you see that often, because it's from the Hydra collection, which is from the Hydra case. And that's a really old collection case, or a operation case, and it's quite expensive. So you don't really see this option often, but it looks really nice, and you can get this one in minimal wear for $12.75. So just under $13 for this AK, which is pretty nice, and it fits really well with the gloves, because the gloves is a bit darker in the red color, and the AK is a bit dark red as well. So it looks really nice. The last option for the AK is the AK Empress. So this is a bit expensive, but a really nice AK, and it does have some blue and yellow to it, but most of the body, as you can see, will have some red color to it in the background, and it looks really well with the gloves. This one is well worn, and you can get it well worn for $23.70. So around $20 for this one in well worn. But the good thing with this AK is it doesn't get really scratchy whenever you go for high condition. The colors on it just gets darker, so it's not that bad looking whenever you go for lower condition on this one, because the colors will just turn into darker colors, and it won't get scratched at all. So well worn one for $23. Now we're going to the AVP skins. So this is the weapon with the most options actually when you're on a budget. So I've got 4 different options for the AVP. The first one, as you can see right here, is the AVP Acarian. I think that's how you pronounce it, something like that. And that's really cheap and really nice. It got a black scope and most people really like black scoped AVPs. I do as well. They go really well with sticker crafts. And also this one has some scars on it with, you know, red on it, probably blood or something. But it's a really nice budget red AVP. And this one is in minimal wear, and you can get a minimal wear one for only 70 cents. So not even $1 for this one in minimal wear, which is extremely cheap for AVP. So, and if you want to go for a factory one, you will have to pay a bit over double the price for minimal wear one. So you will be looking at $1.60, which is still a really cheap option for AVP. And yeah, this one is really nice. So the next option we have is the duality. This one is a newer AVP, and it does have I would say a pinkish color, but whenever you have it like this and you go around, the most of the octopus is yellow. I was about to say yellow. Is red, and the pink still goes pretty alright with the gloves. I was a bit confused, or not confused, but I was like arguing with myself if I should take this. Show you this in the video or not. And actually not an octopus. It might actually be a snake. I just noticed. But yeah, it does look pretty alright with a red pair of gloves, because in the lighting here you can see it looks a bit red, at least to me. And you have a black scope, which is really nice on the AVP. So this one in field tested is still a pretty cheap one. So this is $2.75 in field tested. A minimal wear would be $5.95, just under $6. So over double in price. So for that reason, we'll go for a field tested one. This is a really nice one as well. So the next one we have is the AVP Hyper Beast. I know this one is a lot of different colors, and whenever you don't expect it and just have it like this, it's mostly blue. But if you inspect it, it has a lot of pink, red-ish color to it, orange as well, which could go well with a red themed inventory. But to be honest, this one is a bit expensive. This one is a field tested one, and it goes $26.50. Which might be expensive for some of you on a budget, and if you have the budget to do something like $26 on an AVP, the next option will probably be a better option for you, because that one is only $2 more expensive than this one, and it's a lot more red. But I still wanted to show you this one and give you the option to go for it, because I mean, most of it is blue, but it does have, as you can see, a lot of, you know, pink, purple, red, orange, yellow to it, which all goes pretty well with a red pair of gloves and the red themed inventory. So it is definitely an option to go with this one. But the next one I want to show you is the AVP Wildfire, which is my personally favorite for budget AVP. It's only a budget AVP because this one is in battle scarred. It might not actually look that bad for battle scarred. Of course, it's a lot. Has a lot of scratches, as you can see, but this one is a low floor battle scarred I'm showing you right now. And if you can find a decent one, get something like this. This is a really cheap AVP for what you get. So this one costs $28.70, so just under $30. But if you really use the AVP a lot, I would definitely, even though I'm on a budget, I would spend $30 on this one. It's really nice, and it's only red and then yellow. Have some, you know, some fire on dart work. So this one is definitely the best option for AVP. Now to the M4. So here we got three options. So the first one is the M4 briefing, and this one is not as much red as you probably would think it would be for, you know, being red themed inventory video, but I really think you should have this option because it got some red to it. As you can see, you have the red A at the top and a lot of red like lines here and there, and the back of it have some red to it. Also the barrel, you got some red here and there. And if you look at it with the gloves, and also because of the gloves, it's like gray-ish, blackish inside. On the inner side of the gloves, this one fits really well with the gloves. And also another reason why I wanted to show you this one is because it do have some red to it, goes well with the gloves, and it's really cheap. So you can get this one in field tested for only $3.10. So yeah, just over $3, and you got this one in your inventory. And if you want to go for minimal wear one, you will be at $5.10, so a few dollars extra, which you could do to get an even cleaner one. But otherwise, the field test one would do the job, and you only have to, spend $3. The next one we have is the Blood Tiger. So this one does have some weird floats and condition to it. So the best option for this one is a factory new one. And this one, the factory new, goes for $5.55. 5.55. So around $5.50, and you can buy this one in factory new. This has some more red to it, but it's also like gray and green. But it's really hard for some weapons to get only red skin to it without having to spend a lot of money. I would do at some point after being through most of the colors or all the colors on the budget inventory, I will do like the most expensive or like the ultimate red or color themed inventories, and I will show you some of these. I mean, for the M4 it's something like the hot rod, but that costs like for almost 6,000 RMB on buff, which is something like $850 or something. So they're really expensive. So this one is an option, a bit more red to it. Also the gray color, which go really well with the inside of the gloves, and only for $5.50. So the next and last option we have for the M4A1S is the Cyrix. So this one is probably the best option to buy and field tested. This one I have here is a low for field tested one, which looks pretty alright. The field tested one is $16.60. So a bit more expensive than the other two, but in my opinion also the best option, or the one which looks the best. And if you want to go for minimal one, you would be at something like $23, which is quite expensive for M4, but again it's a skin to one of the weapons you will use the most. But I mean, if you can find a decent float on the field test one, get one which is pretty clean, you can do well with a field test one, which is $16.50, and then you don't have to spend the extra dollars to go off on a minimal wear one. So this one of course also has some other colors to it, but a decent amount of red, and it looks really well in game. I really like this one, and this one is actually from the Breakout collection, which is really nice. So yeah, let's move on to the M4A4s. So now to the M4A4s, we have again 3 options. So the cheapest option is really cheap, which is the M4A4 converter. Really nice M4 for the price, because you can get this one in factory new, which also is the only condition that makes sense to buy for this one. You can get that for only 80 cents. So this one is under $1 in factory new, which is a really nice option. I know it does have a lot of black to it, or like grayish, but most of the weapon is red, and the handle is red, and it has a pretty decent amount of red. And for not even $1, this is a really nice cheap option for a red M4. The next one you have does also have some black to it, but have even more red. And this one has actually been a really one of my favorite M4s, red M4s for a while if you're on the budget, because this one is pretty decent looking, I would say, and it's called Evil Daimyo, and in minimal wear you can get this for only $2.50. So this one is also a really cheap option. $2.50 for M4 skin is really doable on a budget. And if you want to upgrade it to a factory new one, which you could do, it will only be just over $4, so only like around $1.50 more than the minimal wear one. But most of the time you won't really notice the biggest difference on the minimal wear and the factory new one. So you can definitely go with just the minimal wear one and save you $1.50, a few dollars on doing that upgrade. So the third and last option you have for the M4A4 is this one. So this one is called the Bullet Rain. As you can see, it does have some bullets on the main part of the skin, the body, which is red, and this one does have a lot of blue to it as well. But it's a really nice M4 for a red themed inventory as well, as you have the bullets as said, which is red. Also the barrel is red, and like the back side of the M4 when you expect it is red with this little monster, which does look really cool on it. So this one is really nice. And the only option, not the only option, but the option like condition wise on this one which make the most sense is to buy it in minimal wear. as the field tested and minimal wear one isn't that big of a price difference, and you will notice a big difference look wise on a field tested one compared to a minimal wear one. And the factory new one is really expensive compared to the minimal wear one, and most of the time and on most skins you won't really notice the big difference on a minimal wear and the factory new one. So definitely go for a minimal wear one on this one, which is $13.60. So a bit more expensive than the other ones, but $13.60 for an M4 skin you're going to use a lot more compared to most other skins or weapons. It's really good to go ahead and throw an extra few dollars on a skin for that weapon compared to something else. So I would definitely say $13 on a budget should be pretty doable, but otherwise you have the two other options with this a lot cheaper. Next up we have the AUG. So here the best option is the AUG Sit Mid. Yeah, I guess so. Sit Mid, and this one is a field tested one, a low float field tested one, but it looks pretty decent, and you can get this one for only $1.40, so $1.40, which is a really cheap option for a pretty decent red AUG. There is not any other options, to be honest, at least not a budget one. The other option we have is something like a hot rod, and that's, at least a few $100s, yeah, more than a few $100s. So yeah, this will be your best option. If you want to go for a better condition and go for something like minimal wear, you will be looking at $3.15. So double up in price, but you could probably do it if you want to and get a cleaner one. But yeah, I mean, you could also just stay with the field test one, which still looks pretty decent. And it was only $1.40. And now to the SG553, or so most people just call it the SG. So you have two options here. The third option would be a candy apple, but that's quite expensive compared to what you get for the money is something like at least $10 or something, which most people probably don't want to spend on a SG whenever you're on a budget. So these two options I found for you is really cheap. So the first one here is called Darkwing. Got some black to it and red. Black and red. Got a nice fade and also some like looks kinda like a fire, I would say, in the bag. And yeah, really nice red SG here for a pretty decent price, because this one is minimal wear and you can get a minimal wear one for only 60 cents. And if you want to go for a factory new one, it would be $1.50, so almost triple price. It's actually 2.5 times the price and the minimal wear one. And yeah, I would just go for the minimal wear one. You can get a really cheap SG here for only 60 cents, and it looks pretty clean in minimal wear. The other option you have is this one, which is mostly like orange and yellow. But that's because these is the only two like that could go well with a red themed inventory. So the first one, the Darkwing one, is probably a better option due to the color. It's mostly red. This one is more like lava, red and orange, and not so much red. I mean yellow and orange, of course. But I still wanted to give you the option. This one is called Tiger Moth, and in minimal wear this one is $1, and in factory new you'll be looking double up in price at $2.10. So this one is still a really cheap option, and as you can see, it looks pretty alright with the red gloves, because it's still some warm colors you have on it here with the red and orange. But Darkwing is of course red and black, which means you do have the red on it, and you don't here, but it could go well due to the colors. And also, other red SGs is just way too expensive. Now to the FAMAS. So for the FAMAS you have two options: a really cheap option, and one which is a little bit pricey, but I mean, compared to a budget, it's a bit pricey, but it's not that expensive. So the first one here we have is the FAMAS Survivor set, and this one is a nice one for the price because you can get this one in factory new, which is the best condition to go with price wise, for only 45 cents. So this one in factory new here is only 45 cents, and it fits really well and does have, you know, a lot of red to it. The other option I have, which I personally really like, is the roll cage, and this one is field tested and is $2.30. So it's not because it's really expensive, but it's a bit pricey if you're on a budget, because most people don't really use the FAMAS that much. I personally don't use it that much, I would say, but you know, $2.30 isn't that bad for a FAMAS skin. And if you want to upgrade it to minimal wear one, you'll be looking at $4.30, 35 cents. So a few extra dollars on top of the field tested one, which could work out if you want to spend a few dollars on the FAMAS. It looks really good. Does have some black and white to it, but it have a good amount of red, and definitely goes really well as like a red FAMAS with a red pair of gloves. Now to the Galil. So this one is the Galil Firefighter. It is like somewhere in between red and orange, this color, but it's the only like close to red you can get on a Galil if you don't want to go up in price. And even if you go up in price, you only have one other option, which isn't like completely red. So this one is the Galil Firefighter, and in minimal wear as this one is, you can get it for only 70 cents. So not even $1 for this one, which is really nice. A Galil is something like a FAMAS, but I personally love the Galil more and use it way more than I use the FAMAS. And you can even upgrade this one to factory new, and you only have to give $1.85, so under $2 for this one in factory new, which I personally would say is a really good price. It looks really well, but it is like red orange is, and if you want to spend more money on a Galil skin, you'll be looking at something like, I think I can't really remember the price precisely, but I think it's something like $30 or something. Yeah, $25, around somewhere in between $25 and $30. You can go for the Dusk Runes Galil, which I personally have. I do have a red themed inventory myself, but it could be a lot of green, it could be a lot of red, because it's a pattern based skin. So you have to find a pattern on the Dusk Runes, which is have a lot of red to it, if you want to go for that one. Otherwise, you have the Firefighter, as I just dropped by accident, this one. So, which is a nice option for the price. Now to the SG, we have only one option, I would say, which is the SG Redstone. There is another option which is like the I think it's called Dragonfire or something, but that's not completely red. That has some red to it, and there's also a lot of like orange, yellow-ish, and blue. So I would personally go with this one because it's only red, except for the scope, you know, and it goes really well with the gloves, as you can see, and it's not that pricey. It is probably more pricey than you should think, but that's because it's a operation skin. I personally use this one as well for my own red themed inventory, and it's really nice. I have this one in factory new myself, but that's a bit pricey compared to the minimal wear one, and you don't really see the biggest difference on this one if it's minimal wear factory new, but it's because it's a float capped skin, so you can only get this down to 0.06. And factory new one starts at 0.07, so it's a very small room for a factory new one on this one, and the minimal wear one definitely does get the job done. I think I paid something like $20, I believe, for a factory new one, and this one in minimal wear you can get for only $4.90. So $4.90, under $5, and you have a really nice SG, red SG, which goes really well with these gloves as well. So yeah, under $5, and that's a pretty decent price for SG. Now we're going to move on to the auto snipers. So the first auto sniper we have is the Scar 20, and here we'll go for the Bloodsport. So the Bloodsport is a skin you will see for the AK, the auto sniper. I didn't show it for the AK, but that's because the AK one is a bit pricey. If you want to get it in a decent condition, I think a field tested one is like $40-50 or something, so it's a bit pricey. But the auto sniper here, the Scar 20 Bloodsport, you can get that one in field tested for only $2.65. Which isn't that expensive. Maybe a bit expensive for auto sniper, which most people don't use, but I would say $2 something for a skin is pretty doable. And you could upgrade to minimal wear one for $4.50, but I would personally just go with the field tested one. This one is in field tested, pretty low float field tested, but it is field tested. So if you get something like a decent float field tested, you will get something like this. So you only have some scratches on the magazine. Other than that, it looks pretty nice. But this one is also a skin that doesn't really get scratched on a bad condition, but most of the colors just turn into darker colors and it just gets darker on a bad condition. For the other auto sniper, which is the G3SG1, which is just the worst name for a weapon in this game. Like no one wants to pronounce that. I just always says auto sniper whenever I talk about either the Scar 20 or this one. But for this one, we have the G3SG1, the Executioner. Which is a nice skin. It's from the revolver case. It's float cap, so you can only get this one in. Oh, let me think. I think minimal wear is the best float you can get it in, which is pretty pricey compared to a field tested one. So the best option for this one is the field tested one. It does have a lot of red to it, and it goes really well to the red gloves as well. And yeah, just a really nice red budget auto sniper on the T side. So that's a really nice option. It's only in field tested $1.30, so a bit cheaper than the other auto sniper I just showed you, the Bloodsport, which was, I can't even remember now, but $2 something, $2.50 something. So this one is only $1.30, which is really nice. Okay, so now to the deagles. So for the deagle you have two options. One quite cheap, which is the deagle Crimson Rep I have right here. So the best option for this one will be and buy it in field tested, as this one is right now. And yeah, mostly because this is a float cap skin, so Infection New is extremely expensive. The minimal wear one is also quite expensive, to be honest with you. But you can get this one in field tested for only $6.20, which is pretty cheap for a deagle skin, and definitely also for a red deagle skin. So this one is a bit darker in the color, which fits really well actually with the gloves. The other one I will show you in a second is a bit more bright in the red color. But yeah, so $6.20 for this one in field tested. So the other deagle we have is the Code Red. This one is actually not as bright as I remembered it is to be, but it's definitely brighter than the Crimson Web is. It's also quite expensive compared to the Crimson Web, I'm not gonna lie. So the Crimson Web was $6.20. This one is $19.55 in field tested. And field tested is without any doubt the best option for you to buy this one in a field tested condition compared to the other if you look at the prices. But almost $20 for this one can be pricey, a lot pricey for someone if you're on a budget. But the Deagle is one of the pistols you probably will use more. But yeah, you should probably either buy this in a worse condition maybe, even though it's probably not worth it price wise, or go with the Crimson Web, as you can put this money into a better AK or M4 skin. But yeah, $19.55 for this one, Deagle Code Red in field tested. Now to the USP. Here you only have one option actually, which is the USPS check engine, and this one is definitely worth buying because it's extremely cheap. This one in minimal wear, as this one is I have right now, will only cost you $0.75, so 75 cents for this one, which is, yeah, that's an amazing price for a total red USP like this. And I actually use this myself. but I personally will be upgrading soon. But the best you can do with something else is like something like the kill confirmed, but that's extremely expensive. It's at least like $50 or something. Yeah, and you can even upgrade this one to a factory new one for only an extra 50 cents. So 75 cents for minimum wear, and it's $1.20 for a factory new one. So a really cheap option and a really good looking USP as well. It's almost just red. And now to the Glock. Here we also only have one option, as the candy apple, which this one is the best option to go for the Glock. I have personally also checked out the water elemental, but that it has the blue water on it, and the background of the skin is more like a pinkish color and not red. So I personally use this one as well for my own loadout, and it's a really nice red Glock for a red themed inventory, and a really budget Glock as well. So if you go ahead and grab this one in minimal wear, you will only have to pay 35 cents. And if you even want to upgrade it and go ahead and get yourself a factory new version of this Glock, you only have to pay an extra 30 cents. So the factory new one will be 65 cents. So that's a really nice budget Glock for almost nothing. Now we're going on to the only pistol no one uses in this game. Of course, the P2000. If you use this weapon, please, man, you should probably go to the doctor or something. This has never been a great option for style pistol, a CT sighted, and yeah, never been a great pistol. But we still got some options for you guys out there who for some reason uses this weapon. And the one you're looking at here, actually both of them is extremely cheap options. So this one is called Urban Hazard, and you can get this one in minimal wear for only 10 cents. 10 cents is all you have to pay for this one in minimal wear. Looks really nice, a bit of a darkish red color, and you can even upgrade this. It will be double in price of a minimal one, but you can upgrade this to a factory new version of the gun, and you only have to give an extra 10 cents, so 20 cents in total for a factory new version of this one. The other option you have, which is definitely a better option, like this one looks really nice with the gloves. The red color is just way brighter, and the entire skin is just red. The other one, the Urban Hazard, was like dark red and black, and this is just red and with a little bit of gold on it. Looks really nice, and it's really cheap. So the best condition to buy this one in is actually factory new, and you can get a factory new one of this P2000 skin for only 35 cents. 35 cents is all you have to give, so that's really cheap for P2000, and it looks extremely good with the gloves. Now we're moving on to the P250. So here you got two options, and the first one is the Nevermore. So Nevermore is the cheap option here, and it's a really nice P250 actually. It looks really decent, have a bit of like blue purplish to it, a bit yellow, but most of it is red. And whenever you're holding it like this, you will mostly just see the red. So it's really nice P250, and you can actually buy this one in minimal wear for only 70 cents. So it's not even $1 for this one in minimal wear. And even if you want to upgrade it to a factory new one, it will be almost double up in price, but $1.35. That's all you have to give for a factory new version of this one. The other option, and definitely the best option you have for the P250, is the Muratas, and this one in minimal wear is only, but for the skin I think is a really nice price. It's only $4.30. So $4.30 you get this one in minimal wear, and this is of course the giveaway skin for this video. So all you had to do was to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment down below, and you actually have a chance to win this P250 Muratas, but in same condition as this one, so minimal wear one. And if you want to upgrade to a factory new one, it will be $7.90, which can be quite expensive. It's almost double in price, and you won't see that big of a difference. So I will definitely stay with the minimum wear one, and go grab that one for $4.30. Now to the 5.7. So for 5.7, got one option. That's the 5.7 Urban Hazard, and that's because the other options you got, like the berries and cherries, or cherries or berries, I can never remember if it's cherry or berry first. You can get that one. That's a blue red 5.7, which is pattern based. You can get a really max red one, but that's like $100. And you can also get a 5.7 candy apple, but that's from a pretty expensive collection, so that's something like $100 as well. So yeah, those two options are definitely out of there if you're on a budget. Paying $100 for 5.7 skin is not gonna happen. I even think it's quite expensive to pay $100 for 5.7 skin. So I personally also have the Urban Hazard here for my 5.7 skin. And the best option here is to go with the factory new one price wise, and you can actually grab this one in factory new for $1.15. So just over $1, which is pretty good, I would say, for a skin like this. I personally really like it. It does have some black to it, but most of it is red, as you can see, and also when you're holding it, it covers most of the black part, so you will mostly notice the red one, and it's a really nice 5.7 for only $1.15. So for the R8 we have the Crimson Web, which is basically the only red R8 you can get. I mean, most people don't even use this weapon, the R8, but I mean, some do. And if you want to go grab it, you should definitely grab the Crimson Web one. So this one is really cheap, to be honest. So you can get this one in field tested, as this one is, which look pretty nice. No, not too many scratches, and that's 10 cents. 10 cents is all you have to pay for R8 Crimson Web in field tested. So really cheap option here. The minimal wear one, if you want to upgrade it to a better condition, would be 25 cents. So 25 cents is still really cheap. The factory new one is quite expensive because of the float cap for Crimson Web skins. But yeah, go for a field tested or minimal wear one. There will only be somewhere between 5 or either 10 cents or 25 cents. Next up we have the Tech 9, and this is the best you're going to be able to get for Tech 9 when you're looking for a red one. So that's the Isaac Tech 9, and the best option condition wise is to go with the minimal wear one, which will be $2.85. So almost $3, just under $3. Quite a bit expensive, to be honest, for Tech 9, but is the best option. You can't get a total red Tech 9. This is the best you will be able to get, and price wise it only makes sense to buy the minimal wear one. So it will be almost $3 for this one, but it's a nice one. I do like this, but hopefully we'll get a more red one soon. Now to the dual Berettas. So this is also the only red dual Berettas you can get, but damn, I actually really like these dual Berettas. They're really nice, but that unfortunately also means they're quite expensive. So you can grab these in factory new, which is the best condition to go with price wise, because you can only get them, I believe, in factory new, minimum wear and field tested, and the price of each condition is basically the same. It's almost the same. So a factory new one would be $8.30, which is quite expensive for a pair of dual Berettas. $8, that's a lot when you are on a budget. But if you really use the dual Berettas, you should definitely go grab them. They are really nice and look extremely nice, as you could see with the red gloves as well. I personally also use these dual Berettas. They just look so beautiful. And I also use the dual Berettas sometimes in pistol rounds or something. They're pretty good to use, actually. So yeah, you could go grab them if you use the dual Berettas. Otherwise, you can use that money on some of the other skins and maybe upgrade those to a better condition or something else you really like. So now to the C set, which is another pistol not many uses, but you of course need the option to go grab a C set skin. So this one is the cheapest option out of the two options I got for you. So this is called Red Aster, and in minimal wear, as this one is, you can get it for only 65 cents. So pretty cheap option here for a C set. If you want to upgrade it to a factory new condition version of this weapon or skin, you will have to go ahead and give double that price. So you'll be looking at $1.35, which is still, I would say, pretty cheap. But you won't be able to see the big difference on the skin itself. So I would definitely stay with the minimal wear one, which is only $65. The other option you have is the Crimson Web one, which in my opinion looks way cleaner. Just the dark color and also like the red, it just looks so clean compared to the red Alpha. And also because of the gloves being a little bit dark in the red color, it looks pretty nice with the gloves as well. It is a bit more expensive than the other one, but not too much. So the best condition to buy this one is in minimal wear, as once again Crimson Web skins is float capped and really expensive in factory new. But in minimal wear you can grab this one for only $1.50. So yeah, $1.50 and you can get this one in minimal wear. So now on to the SMGs. So we have the MP9 here, and for the MP9 you got two options. None of them really is that red, because the best red option you have for the MP9 is a hot rod, which is something like $80. So that's quite expensive. So this is the first option you have. This is called Ruby Poison Dart, and this one in minimal wear is $1.05. And if you want to go ahead and get a better condition one, which means a factory new one, it would be $1.80. So factory new one is still quite a cheap option to get, but go for the minimal wear one, you won't be able to see the big difference here, and save some money on the factory new one. It does have a lot of like purple to it, but the main colors are like the what is it even called, like the symbols, not the symbol, but like the lines on the skin, is mainly a bit of like darkish red, purple reddish, and then orange and yellow. So do go quite well, I would say, with a red themed inventory and some red gloves. But I do have one other option for you. So the other option is the MP9 Setting Sun, which is a nice one, but it is basically just orange. But orange typically does do pretty well with the red, I would say, because the colors is really close to each other. So it will go well, and you don't really have other options except if you want to go ahead and spend $80 on a MP9 hot rod. Then these two is the best you can get to a red MP9. And one more thing, I was just about to forget saying the price. You will also be able to see it on the screen, of course, but this one is a quite expensive one. In minimal wear it will be $6.10, factory new $8.25. So quite expensive, but yeah, this is the best you can go ahead and get. So for the Mac 10, we once again have a candy apple skin. Really nice and clean. Not much to be honest need to be said about this one. Just a red skin, looks really nice and goes well with a red path glove and a red themed inventory, definitely on a budget, because you can get this one in factory new for 15 cents. $0.15, 15 cents, and this one will be yours in a factory new condition. So really budget friendly Mac 10 option here. For the UMP, we currently don't really have any red UMPs, so the best you can do is go ahead and grab yourself a UMP full stop in minimal wear or factory new. It's pretty close in price. It is like it's kind of camouflage, you can say, but with orange colors and like dark orange colors. So it is like different type of orange, but it is, as said, a pretty dark orange color you got here. So it does fit pretty. It fits alright with the red pair of gloves, and this one being a bit dark red to the color. It goes alright, and yeah, we don't really have any red UMPs at this moment, so something like this will be the best option you got. And it goes for, actually only goes for $1 straight in minimal wear. And if you want to upgrade to a factory new one, you only have to put an extra 20 cents on top of that $1, and you go ahead and grab yourself a factory new version of the skin for only $1.20. So a really cheap UMP. For the P90, you'll be looking at the P90 Shallow Grave. This one is in field tested, as it is quite expensive in minimal wear, a better condition, and as you can see, it does have some scratches to it, and it's mostly just black. But the thing around the skull, the lines and whatever it's supposed to mean look like, is red. And a little bit of it, as you can see at the front of the, like closest to the barrel, is a bit purple to it, but most of this is red, and this is the best option you have. Quite expensive middleware filter in factory new. So filters one this for this one would be $1.40, which I personally would go with. If you want to get a middleware one, you'll be looking at $3, so just a bit more than double the price. But yeah, we do have a red P90. It's just quite expensive. It's the cold-blooded, and it's, I believe, around $80-90. So it is quite expensive. So this one will probably be the best option if you want to get yourself a red P90, which doesn't have to cost you around $80-90. Now on to the MP7. So here you have one option as well. The only red MP7 actually you can go ahead and grab is the Bloodsport. And the Bloodsport version, or actually the MP7, I would say the MP7 version of the Bloodsport, it's not as red as the others, but it's the best you can do. It still looks pretty nice, and it's a really cheap MP7. So this one in minimal wear will be $1.75, which is pretty nice for minimal wear red MP7. If you want to go ahead and grab a factory new one, you'll be looking at $3, which is definitely still doable, but I would personally go with the minimal wear one and save yourself $1.25, and $1.75 isn't bad for this MP7. It does still have quite a lot of red to it, but also a lot of like blue. So, but it's a nice one. For the PP Python, we have another candy apple skin. These just looks really good. Most of them are really cheap. Others are quite expensive, but the candy apple for the PP Bison is really cheap. So once again, just like the Mac 10 actually candy apple, we have a candy apple skin here for the PP Bison, which you can go ahead and grab in factory new condition for only 10 cents. And 10 cents for a, you know, just red and black skin, mostly being red, and whenever you hold it like this, you mostly only see the red. It's really nice for whenever you're on a budget. 10 cents for this skin is all you have to go, and you could go ahead and grab yourself a factory new version of a candy apple to the PP Bison. So for the MP5, we have a quite expensive one actually, also because the minimal wear version of this one is the best option to go with, but I personally really like this MP5. I mean, I have no clue how many uses this weapon. I personally don't use the MP5, but it looks really nice. So it's called MP5 SD Autumn Trilly, and the minimal wear of this one is $4.10. So just over $4 for this one in minimal wear. Might be a bit expensive for MP5, and the factory new one would be just over $6, so $6.05. But if you use the MP5, I would say $4 is not that bad for SMG skin. So then you could go ahead and grab yourself this MP5. So it's a really nice one. I really like this. It looks really good with the gloves as well. So now to the auto shotgun, as most people just probably knows it as, but it is called XM1014. And the first one we have is this one, which is called the C-Sense. You can get different patterns for this one. This is a pattern-based skin. So the one I found here, it has a bit of red to it and mostly orange, which looks really nice for a red themed inventory and with the red gloves. I really like this one. And now, since it's a pattern-based skin, you could get something which is even more red or orange than this one I have. You know, you can see I have some gray and black leaves, and I do also have some green and yellow leaves. You can get one which has like more orange or reddish leaves. You can also get some total red leaves. So this is a really pattern-based skin. So if you like this one, you can go ahead and grab this one in minimal wear for only $1.45. Factory new version of this is $2.60. There's not really any overpay on the different patterns for this one. There was once whenever the skin just came out, but not anymore, as people don't really care. So you can go ahead and find yourself one with a lot of red or orange to it, and you can use that for your auto shotgun skin. It's really nice, and I personally really enjoy pattern-based skins. The other option you have is the XM1014, a red Python. So yeah, it's just a snake camo skin, which is red. So really nice. It goes really well with the gloves because it's like some more dark colors to it, some dark red and black, which is really nice. But not my favorite skin, to be honest, and it is a bit more expensive than the other one. Not if you're going to grab this season's in factory new, but in minimal wear this one will be more expensive. So this one, the Red Python in minimal wear, would be $2.35. So I mean, $2 for our shotgun is not that bad, but yeah, they're almost the same price. So that's the two best options we have. We do have some other red skins as well, but that's something like the leather, red leather I think it's called, or just leather, which is something like $40 I think. And yeah, I mean, you have to be crazy if you want to spend $40 on an auto shotgun. So this is the two best options you have. Now to the Max 7. So you will have two options here for the Max 7. Unfortunately, we don't have any like totally or just red Max 7s in the game as it is right now. So the best options you will get is these two are both like orange, yellow and orange. So the first one here is the Max 7 Heat, and the best condition to buy this one is price wise is in minimal wear, which will be 80 cents. So it's below $1 for this skin, which is really nice for a clean Max 7 skin, and it looks really well. But I personally use the other skin I'm going to show you now. So this is the Max 7 Core Breach. It's more expensive than the other one, but it's still doable. I personally use this one just because I think the glowing on the Max 7 Heat is a bit annoying over time and can be a little bit too much. And this also has some more dark color to it. And for that reason, whenever you're holding it like this, it looks more like red than orange. The heat just glows orange, you know. So having like some dark red gloves like this will go more well whenever you're holding it like this. When you inspect it, you can definitely see it's orange. But this one in the minimal wear condition would be $1.70, and the factory one would be $3.95, so almost $4. So I would personally go for the minimal wear condition on this Max 7 if you're going to go and grab the Core Breach over the Heat. Now to the sort of. So here we got two options, one being more orange and the other one being a decent amount of red. So this one is, yeah, a lot of orange. Looks a little bit like what was it even called? The Core Breach, yeah, for the Max 7 we just looked at. But this one is quite cheap. So this one is called sort of Full Stop, and it's only 45 cents in factory new condition. So really cheap option. And the thing which is nice about this one is it is dark orange, and it does have some red to it, like right in the middle of the skin. You know, some of the camouflage is a bit red, the rest is orange and a little bit of gray, but it goes really well with some dark red gloves. The other option I will show you now is more red than this one. So this is the other option, and definitely the one you should. Yeah, I mean at this point I should not even have spent time showing you the Full Stop. I mean, if you like the Full Stop more, go ahead and feel free to go ahead and buy that one. But this one is totally red. One thing that is important to know about this one, so this one is called Sort of Brake Light. It's cost 80 cents in factory new, so just under $1, which is really cheap and a really good price for this sort of, as it looks really clean. But the thing that is really important to know is this is a pattern based skin, so the two white lines you can see at the front of the skin can be like anywhere on the skin, and you can have more than two lines, so it can actually be a pretty good amount of white to it than red. So you should definitely, before you go ahead and buy this one, inspect it or look at the different patterns before you're buying it, as you probably want it to be as much red as possible. But 80 cents for this one, really nice price, and that will be in a factory new condition as well. Now to the Nova. Once again, not much to be said. We have another candy apple skin. These are just the lifesavers whenever you're on a budget and like red skins and you're trying to build a red themed inventory on a budget. This is really nice, just looks extremely clean. Most of the weapon being red itself, and only like the part you don't really see is being black. Looks, yeah, it just looks so clean and so good. And this one, just like most of the other Ken Diablo skins, will only cost you 10 cents in factory new. Really good option here, and definitely the best option you could get for budget Nova skin here. 10 cents for this one in factory new, really nice. Now moving on to the last two weapons, which is the M249 and the Negev. So the M249 we're going to start with, and we have two options here. The first one is called System Lock, and this one is only 30 cents in minimum wear. So really cheap option here for M249 skin. But I mean, no one really uses this weapon, as it costs like 5,200 I believe in game, and it's really bad. But yeah, 30 cents for this one in minimum wear. If you want to go ahead and grab yourself a factory new version of this skin, you have to give 55 cents. So almost double up in price, but it's, yeah, 55 cents is still really cheap. The other option you have, I really want to show you, is a bit more expensive and not as much red as the other one, but it looks really nice, and it does have some red to it. It has a lot of blue and other colors, as it's like an arcade skin. And yeah, but the front of it is red, and you know, right next to the magazine is red, and also the back of it, as you can see, is red, like this bright red color. And whenever you're holding it like this, the red color will be closest to you and looks really nice. So it does fit really well with a red pair of gloves, and it's definitely worth giving a shot for a red themed inventory. It will be more expensive than the other one, as this one costs $2.05 in minimum wear and $3.45 in factory new. So quite expensive compared to System Lock, but it's definitely a better skin. In my opinion, as the other one is just, you know, red and black and looks a little bit boring, this one gives some more like life to it, to the weapon, and still have, you know, that red glow on the red parts of the skin. Now the last weapon and skin, as you only have one option here for in the video, which is the Negev Lionfish. So this one is white and orange, I do know that, but it is like dark orange, so I would say it goes fine with the red gloves, but we don't really have any options here for another red Negev, except if you want to go for the I can't even remember that Nordic name for the Negev, but it's a Negev you use to do trade-offs for Gungnir. So it's like, yeah, it's too much, okay? It's like $1,000 or something. So this will be the best option, and it is quite cheap, at least if you get in the right condition. So in field tested, this one is field tested here. You will only have to pay 35 cents, and if you want to go ahead and grab it in minimal wear, you'll have to pay 90 cents, so almost triple the price. So field tested one should be good, as it still looks pretty clean, as you can see in field tested. I know it's orange, I said, but I would say it goes pretty well with the like a red pair of gloves like the ones I have on here. So only 35 cents in field tested for this one.